up, guys? It's Elaine here, back again. And today I wanted to talk about something kind of awkward slash uncomfortable. And I didn't realize that it was something so uncomfortable until recently with all that's been going on. Obviously, with Black Lives Matter, just everything that's going on in the news, the protests, the riots, and all of that, right? In the midst of coronavirus. Now, obviously, in the past, we've dealt with a lot of uprisings, right? Like a lot of things that have triggered us as a society, as a country, to create change and create reform. This goes back to like slavery, right? Um, Building the railroad, like to all these different times, right? And especially in the recent, I don't know, I would say decade or two, it's been very much in our faces. Um, and I would say there's been so much like going on that this time it feels different. I was sharing with my friends, some of my friends who are black and those who are not black. I was having a lot of conversations with different people simply because I was saying, hey, like, I don't know how I can support, like, yes, I went to a protest. Yes, I donated. Yes, I'm educating myself. Yes, I'm having conversations. And at the same time, I'm still so ignorant, right? There's so much I don't know. And I was having multiple conversations with them, with different people, and saying how this time we agree that it feels a little different. Like there's actually going to be reform that might stick, right? Knock on wood. Because obviously in the previous times that there's been protests and rallies and people getting killed for no justifiable reason, there has been revolt, right? There has been people speaking up. So why does it feel different this time? And it could be coronavirus. It could be the fact that we are in quarantine, right? It could be the fact that people have a little bit more time on their hands. It could be the financial strain that a lot of people are really, really feeling, which is magnifying everything else, right? Whatever it is, I'm happy that it feels like something is different and here to stick this time around. But that is not the sole purpose of today's video. The purpose of today's video, as I shared in the title, is how seeing an American flag makes me feel as an American, like as a Chinese American person that was born here in the States. I was born and raised in San Francisco. I lived in China for a couple years. I live in New York now. So how it makes me feel when I see an American flag. And this is just something that was triggered very recently. I always thought as a kid, and even in my teenage years and as an adult, right? And like an early adult, that the American flag represented freedom. And that's what they teach us. America, the land of the free. America, where our ancestors, our parents, and all the previous generations come here for opportunities, for a better life for themselves and for their kids and their grandkids and whoever else that has not been born yet. That is the idea of America. And it's an idea I believed in for the longest time. So WTF, like why have I been feeling weirded out, nervous every time I see an American flag now? I'm really trying to pinpoint when I started feeling this way. Well, first off, being from California, or even here in Brooklyn, right? I'm in Brooklyn, New York. I'm not in like upstate or some other parts of New York. Being in these two places, California and New York, you don't see a ton of American flags anywhere. Thank goodness you don't see a ton of, or any Nazi flags anywhere. So I feel like I have been sheltered my whole life. I've been blessed, right, to to be raised, having been raised in a place where there's diversity. Black people, white people, yellow people, like whatever, brown people, like there's all types of people, right? My friends have been Asian, white, black, Hispanic, like all types of people. So I'm not racist. And yes, there's the whole anti-racist thing. Yes, I'm an anti-racist. And that's just a new term I've learned recently, right? So I have never been racist, and I have not been exposed to too much racism in my life. Sure, I've been targeted because I'm Asian. I've definitely heard my share of racist remarks, even despite having grown up and went to school in San Francisco and Sacramento and Davis, and like going to places like Modesto, even like 10 or 20 years ago. People were more racist there in that part of California than San Francisco. So I've definitely experienced and noticed this thing called racism, but like nothing compared to what others who are less fortunate, right? Like, or maybe they're like, I'll say less fortunate in the sense that maybe they grew up somewhere in middle America as a minority, right? As someone that's hated, someone that's targeted. And so it really wasn't until, the recent years that I have really opened up my eyes to what a lot of other people are facing, right? A lot of people that have been less fortunate than me as far as this topic, right? This area. And I think the first time I was super like shocked was a few years ago. I think it was 5 years ago. I was mid to late 20s. I quit my job and I took a cross-country road trip by myself for 6 weeks across America. And to me, it's like, whatever, like I'm, I was traveling. I've always been too ballsy for my own sake, is what my mom calls me. She hates it, right? I'm first generation American. They are like, girls are supposed to be proper, definitely not weird colored hair, definitely not like super masculine and like all about that career oriented life, chasing dreams life, and not tattoos. I mean, I'm like tatted up and everything. You guys can't see now, but I have been the opposite of everything my mom has wanted me to be, right? Coming here, immigrating from China to come to America to give birth to her children. It's like, I am just the black sheep. And so I got so much shit for like doing that, quitting my job and having the balls to go across country by myself. And a lot of people showed concern for me, like, oh, be careful out there. Not just in the sense that I'm a girl, I'm a woman, I'm a female, right? Not just in the sense that I'm all alone, but like in the sense that you're also an Asian female and there's racist people. I'm like, whatever, like, like did the cross country road trip. For the most part, felt safe. I didn't feel much, but maybe it's because I don't notice things like that. I don't think about someone being racist towards me in any way. But I did see like a ton of signs, billboards, and flags, and I was like, oh, I don't really see these like signs like back in California, and a lot of them are like religious, right, or whatnot. Definitely didn't see any like Nazi flags or anything like that, but that was the first time I started noticing that other parts of America is quite different than like my part of America. And so that was that. I took another cross-country road trip roughly about a year or two after that, so just about maybe 3 years ago. Noticed the same, right? Certain parts of America. It's like, okay. And then recently, like last year, like 6 to 9 months ago, Sergio and I took another cross-country road trip. This is my third one. And at this point, our family and friends are like, oh, be careful, right? And, there's all this stuff about Trump and the borders and the Mexicans and all that, right? Like, And so now this time around, I felt different. I felt different because I feel fine. Like, I'm not afraid for myself, but I'm like, oh shit, my boyfriend's Mexican, man. Like, I'm afraid because I'm protective over him. And I'm thinking people are going to be racist towards him, right? So it's just like this instinct, right? Like this kind of protective, whatever, right? Loving, motherly, whatever instinct you want to call that. And his, in his mind, he's like, oh, I got to protect my little Chinese girlfriend, like, right? And so he's like, oh, so we're both like scared for the other person, right? Now there's more to lose because there's the other person that we care about and want to protect. And so this time around, and also with Trump as president, which I believe my last road trip, so my second one, I'm not sure if he was president yet. Maybe he was just newly president or whatnot. But this time, with all that's been going on since his term, we were both more aware. And I'm sure this is like when the anxiety of the American flag and police have always made me nervous ever since I was a kid, right? And with all the shit that's been going on in like forever, I definitely have always felt nervous towards police, but now it's like police and the American flag making me feel slightly uncomfortable, which is weird. FYI, this did not register until this past weekend, which I'll get to. So we do the cross country road trip, and this time we're a little more, cautious. And I've always loved going to like museums, learning about history, like everything, right? Like all types of history, from just different things that this country has gone through to just a lot having to do with equality or inequality. And so we went to Alabama this time. I've always wanted to go to Alabama. So we went to Birmingham and we went to some of the history, the landmarks, the museums. It was very heavy. It was very heavy. He really enjoyed the trip. I just felt this like, not negative energy, but it was just a very heavy energy. And we did end up going to the church where the 4 girls were murdered. And this was last year. And I just felt like really uneasy like the next couple of days, even after we left Birmingham. And I'm very glad we went. But like it's been like really heavy on my mind. And when we got here to New York, like I've always been also fascinated with documentaries and docu-series and all of that, and just I watched a lot, right, of docu-series and shows related to just the injustice that has occurred in this country. And I'm telling you this because it's built up to the whole what's been happening recently with just Floyd, Breonna, all the riots and protests. And so it's been about a month now since everything's been happening with just ever since Floyd got murdered, right? And it's been a weird vibe, a really dark, like what the F kind of country do we live in? So I've been really questioning a lot of things and having conversations with my friends who are a mix of born and raised here. They're from another country, right? They're from Europe and they're living here as artists, as DJs, right? Really considering America their home, or reconsidering like, do I want to keep and make America my home? Is it even an option for America to be my home and for me to plant my roots here? And it's effing weird that of all times, right now in 2020, people are questioning that more than ever. It's almost as if we've gone backwards. And that's the trippy part. Like, it's like, WTF? Like, we had Obama as our president. Like, and then we had Trump. Okay, ... And, I try my best not to get sucked in to the news. Like, I don't watch a lot of news. I don't watch a lot of articles. I don't do that. I don't get sucked in. But for some reason, this time around, it was harder. It was harder for me to not look. It was harder for me to not wake up and turn on my phone. I mean, my phone's already on, but like to look at shit, articles, videos of just like police like beating the shit out of people that are just peacefully protesting. It's been hard, right? And listening to all the books, right? The books around like anti-racism and just our history and our past, watching the documentaries like 13th, right? Like, and other movies related. It's been just on my mind every single day. And then I recently discovered this show called Hate Thy Neighbor, and I barely got into it, right? Like I watch it like a little bit every day, not every day, but when I have time. And I'm like, WTF? Like, people believe in genocide still here in America because they don't want their white children to be tainted by these other people, these colored people, right? Like, sure, blacks. One of them mentioned like something fish-eating, agile cats, which is Asians, by the way. Like, I'm like, what the and yeah. So this past weekend, we went away. We've been in quarantine for 3.5 months now since coronavirus hit hard, right, in New York. So we haven't gone anywhere. Like, I haven't gone anywhere. He's flown for work, but I have stayed in New York this entire time. And I've done my due diligence. I've stayed home for the most part, unless I really, really need to go out or like very short walks or a grocery. And so we really needed a getaway. So we decided to go away into nature, right? We decided to go upstate New York. And as we were driving up, I was joking. I was like, okay, I bet you we are driving straight into Trump Town right now. And, Sergio's like, yeah, man, there's a lot of old money here, and old values, dated values. So we're joking. And as we drive closer and closer to our destination, I see more and more American flags. And it's not the American flag that makes me feel, it shouldn't be the American flag that makes me feel uncomfortable. But it's all the things that it's represented or connected to, right? Every time you watch a documentary about people who are racist or believe in genocide or believe that white people are the superior and supreme race and how Mexicans should get the F out of here and Asians are this and black people are this, there often is an American flag, like outside their house or next to their other Nazi flag or whatever flag they have that makes me nervous. Make America great again. Keep America great. Like, there's all this America stuff that doesn't make me feel comfortable, and it's associated with America, the American flag. FYI, right? This did not really register with me or us as kids when we're taught certain things in our history books, right? We're not taught America is whack because of this, and this. We're not taught America needs to reform because of this, and this. We're just taught us, like, very kind of textbook BS that we eventually grow up and find out is BS, and we start to challenge that. And so, as I started seeing American flags, I literally said, I was like, babe, I don't know why, but American flags make me nervous. And I'm fucking born and raised in America. The American flag makes me nervous, just like seeing cops make me nervous. And FYI, y'all, I have not ever been arrested ever in my life. I've never gone to prison. I've never, nothing. So it's like, but cops make me effing nervous. And so only was it this past weekend that I realized the American flag makes me nervous. How ironic, out of place, and fucked up is that? Like, born and raised in America. Anyways, so we rolled up to our Airbnb. We rolled up to the street. We were looking for the Airbnb, and we passed this house with like this big ass sign at the front that said, "Trump 2020, keep America great." And I just cracked up. But it was like what the type of crack up? It was like, really? After everything I said on my way up here, right? 3 hours north, that was our Airbnb. Like, we took the loop and we're like, don't tell me that's our fucking Airbnb. And then we looked at the address, we're like, that's our fucking Airbnb. Okay, keep America great. Anyways, it was just weird. And so, whatever, we were nice. I'm not saying Trump supporters are bad. I mean, supporting Trump is bad. That's my opinion, and the opinions of many others. So I'm not saying you're a bad person because you support Trump. It made me think. I was like, ooh, how many people, like, some people are proud, right? Loud and proud. Trump 2020, like, make America great. Keep America great. That's fine. Some people are vocal about it, right? Who they support. Some people are vocal about, if you're a supporter of Trump, defriend me now or unfriend me now. It's fine as well. So it's not that Trump supporters are bad people. The Trump supporters make me nervous. Just as police make me nervous, just as the American flag makes me nervous, because of all the things that has happened and all the things it's been associated with, right? You can be a Trump supporter and an amazing, kind-hearted, sweet, whatever person. You can be a Trump supporter and believe Black Lives Matter. However, all the other shit that has happened, the shit that Trump believes in, the way that Trump says certain things, it makes you wonder, right? Like, it makes me put my guard up. You can be the most amazing, kind-hearted, sweetest person ever, but because you have that sign up, yes, I'm prejudging you. Like, and I don't mean to, but I can't help it anymore, right? Just as police make us fucking nervous. The American flag makes me feel, ooh, what does this person believe in? Do they believe that only the white, supreme, and superior race should be here? That us Chinese, or as some of them will call chinks, or these black people, or worse, right, worse terms, or Mexicans, should not be here? Because of everything that has gone on in this country. That's why. Police make me nervous. The American flag makes me nervous. And Trump signs make me nervous. It's because I'm here wondering, maybe prejudging, right? Like, and it's like a defense mechanism as well. It's like, shit, should I be worried for in a bad case, I guess from a super shitty case scenario, should I be worried about my safety, my partner's safety, and anyone who's not white safety, right? Or anyone who doesn't have the same beliefs as you, safety? Then like a best case scenario is like, okay, like, where do you stand as far as what you believe? Or are you nice to my face, but then inside your head you're thinking you fucking blah 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 blah, right? Anyways, that's what I wanted to share today. It sucks that your own country's flag could make you nervous. I never consciously thought about that before until this past weekend, when I realized that 3 things make me nervous. For sure. Like, I mean, aside from spiders, clowns, and water, but American flag, Trump flag / supporters, and cops. It's like, that's not a good place to be in. That's not a great way to feel about your country that is supposed to, like, be the land of opportunities, and cops who are supposed to be providing safety and protection. And that's it. But that is literally how I feel every time I see an American flag. That sucks. And I don't know if this feeling will go away. Maybe if the way the outcomes of our votes change, who leads this country, maybe, right? Maybe if there's less bullshit like what's been happening, continuing to happen. And I really don't know how to answer that. It's like, will I ever be comfortable seeing an American flag again? That's so effed up, because I am American. I'm Chinese American, and I'm proud, and I hesitated because I've always been proud. But in this moment, if I were to ever not be so proud to be an American, it would be right now. Is that wrong? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Comment below. Hopefully I don't get a ton of shit for this, but if I do, then whatever. I'm just speaking my mind, speaking my truth, and that's it. Something to think about, guys.
I keep my foot on the gas, I keep my foot on the gas, ayy. I know I'm never gonna crash, I know I'm never gonna crash, ayy.